Christian mysticism. I like
Was Jesus a mystic? Was he a magician? What was he doing? Did he know the Kabbalah?
a Christian mystic. Just like you can be a Jewish mystic. Just like you can be an Islamic mystic.
Can you be an atheist mystic?
I don't know.
JCC, can we get a ruling here? Honey, can you be an atheistic mystic?
Yeah. Well, Sam Harris is talking about, being like spiritual. He's talking about the importance of being spiritual. So if you understand mysticism as something spiritual, then yes.
If I just take a deep breath.
Not a lot of people done, right? But I'm doing it. And then I have some mystical experience with some like pilot whales or something. And then I dive into the ocean and I get to the cooler water below, right? And then I see some orcas pop up and then I watch one attack a great white shark in front of me. And I come up. I don't agree with that. I can claim that was a spiritual. I can claim that's a spiritual experience, right? And no one would be able to tell me that it's not. And if you want to tell me that it's not, you'd have to explain yourself.
What do you think Sam Harris means when he says that, the spirituality is important for everybody to have? What do you think he means by that?
I don't know. What did he say?
He was saying he was talking about the importance of spirituality.
I don't know, man. I mean, you'd have to I'm not reading Sam Harris. I mean, why don't you explain it to us? What do you think?
Well, he's really smart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he is. Sam Harris is awesome.
Apparently, he's really smart. So
he is.
He's telling basically even atheists, right? They should
Listen
have
to this. This is
spiritual
so
understanding about stuff, and that they need to engage in.
Yeah, that's cool.
Spirituality,
what is
feeling, and stuff. I was trying to understand what he meant by that.
I'm trying to answer your question. I think he's just referring to a general concern for the human condition. That's all he means by
it. Did you read it or something, or do you think that, based on your understanding of him, that's what you
just based? I didn't read those exact words. It's just my understanding from reading him.
Spiritual towards the preservation of humanity. Is that what you think?
Yeah, health and well-being, that type of thing. Things that generally make us happy and prosper as a society, right?
Yeah. He thinks.
I mean, what do you think he means, Islamic? What's a spirit? What would be spiritual?
I don't know. It's hard for me to figure out. If he doesn't believe in anything supernatural, what does he mean by?
Maybe you should look into more of his work and figure out what he means.
I would say if you guys knew what he meant. That's okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like I said, I gave you an experience that could be considered spiritual. So I don't see it's all for each person's individual, right?
I think I gave you a pretty good answer. Right? I think that's probably the best answer you're gonna get.
Yeah. Spiritual about something that you truly believe in, right? So if you truly believe in the preservation of humanity, you're going to go to spiritual understanding of that. So it's whatever you think is important, whatever you deem is important, you should be spiritualistic.
Yeah, and if you want to call it spiritual, that's
well, he does anyway.
Decide to call it spiritual, and it'll suffice. Yeah.
He recognizes the benefits of being spiritual. Now, what spiritual is acting as if your soul exists and lived accordingly. What benefits that soul? If the soul doesn't exist, then you can't be spiritual.
What's the soul?
They don't believe the soul exists.
We don't need to talk about something else anymore. What's the soul, Arbon? What is that?
Well, soul is what makes you, which is external of your body, independent of it.
Now we're gonna go into LARP Town 89 IQ level shit. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Well, what is a soul exactly? I mean, is it the word sun in Spanish? It's a word game. Honey, can't you just accept the word game?
when someone dies, they lose something. We would say he lost his soul. His soul left his body. So what would be your explanation?
So that's just a figure of speech. Generally, soul actually refers to the person itself. And you hear this in, like, when a pilot reports an emergency, the ATC will ask him, how many souls on board? It refers to a living person. And then, much later, there was sort of like this new age thing where the soul became not the person themselves, which is, if you read the Bible, what it's actually talking about, right? But instead, like, the thing which animates the person, or is external to the person.
Yeah.
It's a very recent invention.
That's what I said, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a very recent invention as far as our language goes.
Somebody step on a duck.
You agree that the person who dies, something of him is lost.
What do you mean,
Why
like
he's not
metabolistic processes?
Sure,
Right?
Is that all?
No, that's not all, right?
Separation
No,
is not
like other things like, his heartbeat, respiration, things like that. There's a lot that gets lost, right?
I see. So, I guess you believe that after we die, since there is no soul in the way that we mean it, it's just, you become dust and bones. Is that
I haven't
correct?
heard how you mean it.
So what is Gnosticism, and how can you merge with the supposed deity that the atheists deny exists? Has anyone had a merging experience, a Gnostic experience with the deity itself? Anyone? Or just maybe felt something in their pants?
Wait, hold on. What is Gnostic experience?
It's like a merger between, the self and the deity.
You're a religious person? That's crazy.
So Armand, when someone claims to Gnosticism, they claim knowledge, right? They know it to be the case.
It takes from what?
So a Gnostic.
Yeah, I've never.
Well, that's
Sorry, go ahead.
So now you know what it means. So have you heard, or have you yourself have knowledge of any experience that you know that you're experiencing the deity that you know exists?
Oh no, like in terms of like seeing him or like, giving him a high five or something like that. No, not really.
Okay, so you don't know for certain, right? Okay, cool, awesome.
No, I've never had such an experience where I touched God or, or God revealed himself in front of me or something. No, I never had something like that. What I had was, just looking at the world rationally and determining whether or not it's more likely a product of intelligence and intention versus not.
What makes it a product of
That's
intelligence?
actually how most of us.
What makes it a
Sorry,
product
that's
of,
actually how most of us.
what makes it a product of intelligence?
The fact that the objects that we see are very within it, we see systems that are balanced with other systems, and
Okay.
this points to, in terms of intelligence, it points
Why?
to, well,
Why?
if this. Yeah, I was going to explain that. So, like, for example, if I open up a car engine and kind of investigate it, I'll see that, whoever put this together. Hold 1 second. Let me just finish my answer, if I could.
Your analogy of a car
Can I just finish my? Can I just finish my answer? If I
I've heard
could?
this before. It's a watchmaker.
Oh, can I just finish my answer?
Go ahead.
if I could?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we'll look at that, and we'll think to ourselves that, whoever put this together had some understanding of how combustion
Yeah, because we know humans know.
had some understanding.
Yeah, because humans
Well,
design things. Yeah.
Well, I'm not making an argument
what?
here. I'm not. Hold
Humans
on.
design
Just
things and build things.
just hold on.
We're gonna get your point.
So basically, what we have here is, we have evidence that whoever put this together has some kind of intelligence, has an understanding of concepts such as combustion, such as weight, such as material.
Yeah.
He understands material science. Because if the materials were different, like for example, if the engine was made out of wood or something of that nature, that it would fail, and so this is the evidence that I'm showing. So this is the evidence that I'm suggesting. But anyway, go ahead, man.
That's not Arbonne. It's Islamic, dude.
Yeah. No, I thought it was our bomb.
No, it's Islamic. That's why he's doing this. He's just a fucking nut job, dude.
Are you familiar with the sharpshooter fallacy?
Our bomb was off mute, so I'm confused, right? So Islamic. So you're using the argument from intelligent design because you understand that it takes a thinking agent to make things that don't come about naturally, right? And then you look at the universe.
What do you mean come about naturally? What does that mean?
Hello. I let you blow. You know what? Have a great day, Islamic. You're going to interrupt me nonstop because you're
Don't, JCC.
you're a fucking hypocrite. You must
Are
be
you familiar with
hard.
the sharpshooter fallacy?
Yeah,
Right?
so the point is, like, you're arguing for things that we agree. Yes, there must be a thinking agent to make a watch. Cool. That doesn't entail just because you see something complex. Therefore, it entails there must be a thinking agent behind that as well, right? That's a mistake. That's an argument from incredulity.
Well, it's also the sharpshooter fallacy.
Well, it would seem that.
Hold on just 1 second. It's also the
I
sharpshooter.
thought he was asking me. I thought I was answering his
Hold
question.
on just 1 second. It's
Oh, you want to interrupt me? Go ahead.
No, I know. I'm trying to.
Islamic is horrible. Notice he said nothing. He said nothing.
It's also an example of the sharpshooter fallacy, because what you did was you took a specific piece of evidence and then you drew the target such that the bullseye lands on it and ignored all of the things that don't hit the bullseye.
No, what I did was I looked at reality and I realized that whenever you have systems balanced with other systems, the most rational explanation is that someone balanced it, which would require intelligence.
So,
What's the argument for that?
So, no, I'm just making an inference, right?
I know. What is the argument for the inference, please?
It's called an inference, right?
I know. What
So
is
an
the
inference
argument?
is when you have.
Humans build stuff. That's all you
Well, I mean,
got.
unfortunately, the other guy keeps interrupting, so I don't know.
That's all you have, dude. Humans build things.
He
Now
wants to
what?
provide more rhetoric.
Humans build things.
Because
Now
we
what?
have lots of counter examples, which would make the inference wrong, right?
Oh, okay. So you have evidence that everything that came about via non-intentionally, right?
That is not what I said.
Oh,
What I
did you
said
say?
was, hold on. What I said was, and I prefer that you don't put words in my mouth. What I said was that we have ample counter examples, which would make the inference not accurate.
Can you give me one counterexample?
Sure.
Exactly.
Chemicals
You said
falling into lower.
poo.
Chemicals what?
Chemicals falling into lower energy states achieve equilibrium absence an intelligent force.
Okay. So the last part, absence and intelligent force. What is your evidence that this is an absence and intelligence force?
We don't see any evidence of intelligence in the
So
process.
absence of evidence is evidence of absence?
Yes, in the case.
Hold on. Sorry.
You want to talk about fallacies?
Yes, it is.
You want to talk about fallacies now?
I'm not. Hold on. Excuse me. I didn't give a blanket yes. I was trying to qualify this. Absence of evidence is evidence of absence when the evidence is predicted and yet not observed.
Oh, okay. Observe the hand of God, putting these things together, therefore there is no hand of God, right?
That was not what I said.
He was saying that atheists refuse to participate in the book club, and as a result, there's no evidence because everything is just, science fiction, superstitious nonsense, and, therefore it's all just imagination, and
You said that there are examples of things unintentional.
Excuse me, you have me wrong. I didn't say anything about intention. No, I didn't. Not once.
Okay. So then I have a question. So, but do you believe that, the way the world is structured is all unintentional?
I don't believe the world is structured. So, let's start there.
Really?
Yeah.
The world is not structured?
No. And structure, structure has a very specific connotation that I just don't think applied.
Do you believe systems exist within our universe?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right, so that's what I'm referring to, right?
Well, that doesn't that doesn't mean they're structured, though. Systems can be
that's
structured.
Yeah.
Systems can be
I don't think systems can be, if it follows a pattern, then it's structured.
Systems don't have to follow a pattern.
Are
right?
talking to
Really?
physicists.
Absolutely, right?
Where is your degree?
Right. An example of a system that doesn't follow a pattern is basically all of systems chemistry. That's the entire thing that we're studying is the way in which the chemicals don't have to work in patterns.
Like
Right?
the
They can do things
behavior.
like- they can do. Hold on, I wasn't done yet. If you would not interrupting, they can do things like achieve equilibrium, and then the environment can change, and equilibrium can be unachieved. Right? It's one of those things where there's no pattern to that. Right? It's very much a in-flux, constantly changing system.
Well, there are patterns to the behavior of atoms and molecules, which are
But we're describing the system.
which are. Hold on. Let me finish.
You're just
Which are a direct. No, you haven't let me finish. That's probably why you're confused. So if you let me finish, yeah. So the behavior of atoms and molecules, right, follow a pattern, and this pattern is directly responsible to the systems that we see come about. So there are patterns, right? Even no matter what you say, right? No matter any way you look at it, if there were no patterns, we wouldn't be able to study the universe in the way that we are able to currently. Everything would just kind of be a shot in the dark. But thankfully, there are patterns, and these patterns give rise to systems that are also balanced with other systems. And so this all seems very intentional. I don't see a reason for me to believe that these things can come about via unintentional.
Isn't that a common sense fallacy?
No, because when I look at the world,
It was
Hold on a second.
bullshit.
I believe that is a common sense fallacy because what
common sense fallacy.
Hold on, because what you said was, it seems like. That's the common sense fallacy.
Yeah, and the reason it seems like that is because we understand that whenever it comes to an object, right, and we see that within that object you have systems to balance with other systems, we see that the reason why the most rational explanation is that someone put it together. Because we have many examples of that. We have human beings put together things that are multi-layered in complexity and in balanced systems. And so when we see that, we see, hey, you know what? The tree is, the same. It follows a pattern. You have within it systems that are balanced with other systems. Hey, the human beings,
He's going to keep repeating
Well, I thought I gave you evidence to suggest.
No. You gave me a fallacy, which is it seems like. That's a fallacy.
No. The reason it's not a fallacy is because I'm using real world instantiations of objects that come about via rational thought, and I see the parallels between that and also the systems that exist within things that human beings did not make.
Just prepare to make fallacy now.
Islamic, what point are you trying to make? Because it's like you're just using big words that even I'm a Muslim, that I'm learning trying to understand where you're coming from.
You're just saying it seems like it. It's not in
I was saying that when you have the reason why we believe that someone put these things together is because we see that it has this property of systems being balanced with other systems, right? So when you look at the human being, you see that the circulatory system is balanced with the skeletal system, which is balanced with the central nervous system, and I can go on and on. The digestive system. I can go on and show how, because they all work together towards a common purpose, which is to try to keep me alive, that this was intentional, because we see the same thing with things that we put together, right? Objects that we put together, when we put them together, the same thing's achieved. We have multiple layers of complexity that all work towards a singular purpose. So I'm just drawing a parallel to... No, I don't think that's begging the question.
I'll explain why it is. Because what you said was, because I infer intention, therefore it's intention. Because it seems...
No.
Hold on, that was your argument just now, right? Because it seems intentional, therefore...
Why does it seem intentional? Did you get it? Can you get into that?
That was your argument, right?
No. Why did I... Look, you asked for evidence for why it seems intentional, right?
No, but it doesn't...
So I just gave it to you. Can you repeat?
It doesn't...
Can you repeat my response to why I said it seems intentional?
Here's the thing. If it doesn't seem intentional, it seems evolved, right? So, we just play that silly game and it doesn't go anywhere, right?
So it looks like you're not understanding what I'm saying.
I think Islamic, to break it down like in a much more like simple form, I think what Islamic is trying to say is that if you look at the world around us, and you look at the the alteration of the day and night, and how our body just is a sign within itself that there has to be a creator. Just like, for example, if I was to be walking on the road and I was to see a phone on the floor, for example, my natural instinct isn't to think, this thing just appeared from nowhere without any purpose, and that nobody actually thought about the design, and like it just appeared from nowhere, and it just is what it is. That even just our bodies and the way our body operates itself is a sign that there has to be somebody, who created it, who brought forth and intent behind it. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I understood him the first time. You didn't need to repeat the argument. I understood that he said, because it seems intentional, therefore it's intentional.
So what's your issue with this?
Intentionality?
Yeah, I didn't disagree with
Oh, see, hey, baby.
So what's your disagreement to you? Because it seems like you're having like an issue with it. It's an explanation if you agree with it.
He didn't provide an explanation. He said it seems intentional. I said, well, it seems evolved. So where do we go from there?
So you're saying that we came about through evolution? Is that a point that you're trying to come from?
No, not at all. No, I just said it seems evolved. I'm making the same argument he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what if this evolution isn't directed by someone who intended it?
I didn't say anything about direction or intention. I said it seems evolved, right?
I understand.
What seems
how I provided a
The
deeper
fact that these
explanation
systems are in balance.
for why I said it seems that way, but you have not.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize. Because of the history of evolutionary development and the nature of biological systems.
What about you that it wasn't put together?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What about that? Those facts that you just named that you believe in. What about that tells you that there is no designer?
I see no evidence of design. I see only evidence of a continual chemical process.
But what evidence do you have to say that this continuous chemical process wasn't a design process?
I just told you, I literally answered that question. I see no evidence of a design process. I see only a continuous chemical process.
So you don't really have any evidence then, right? To suggest that. You just
have no evidence of a method
Oh,
of design.
okay, gotcha.
Right.
Right.
I have
You have
no
a reason
evidence
for me?
of a method of design.
Evidence
Right.
of
What I do
life.
have is lots and lots of evidence of a method of evolution by which these types of systems achieve equilibrium. Right. That's what I have.
Just ask you a question. Once again, just to better understand where you're coming from, like, what's your belief? Do you believe in anything? Do you believe that there's a God? Like, what's the foundation of your understanding?
Regarding what? Like, you have to be a little
Like
bit
the foundation of your understanding of your beliefs. Like, what would you believe in?
What do you mean by the foundation of my understanding of my
Can I take it from here to
No,
Can I take it from, excuse me,
I got a
the
good question.
question is totally irrelevant. You're asking a man about his belief. He's approaching things from
Not
an
really.
experiential point of view. He
Uh-huh.
knows things for a fact. And he's got an
No,
enormous...
fuck all that.
No, I never said anything.
Man,
Anyway,
are you really chicken is better than
That's just not my true.
When it comes to the scientific method, you don't approach things by belief. You know things through a huge body of evidence. You require an evidence when you claim that there is a design.
No.
When you state the
There's this thing
word
called Clubhouse.
that
What's called again?
necessarily
Normally, I go there to speak to like my
excuse me, I'm
friends from
speaking.
Ghana and stuff like that.
That
But it's like
necessarily
people speak about
implies-
atheists and religion and stuff like that, so you can speak to them.
Barnes, your question is totally irrelevant. You don't understand what's taking place here. When you ask for an evidence, someone who's following a scientific method is given a huge, enormous body of evidence. When you're asking for evidence for someone who's following a scientific method, he's got all the evidence in the world to present to you. But when you are saying design, that necessarily, linguistically speaking, implies a designer, and that's when you need to provide an evidence for your designer, whatever it is. right? So the question when it comes to
Hey,
belief,
so
to
fancy.
someone who's following
I like
a scientific method,
Let him finish. Let him finish. Joshua,
I hope you understand.
Joshua, let him finish because I think I
He's
understand where you're
making
coming
no
from. So
sense.
no, he's not making no. I know. I
really
agree
don't let
1,000%.
you think,
Elia, one thing. Elia, finish and I'll listen to you so I can respond.
Bansi, one last thing.
Alright.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Got you.
Hold on.
I'm listening, Josh.
T,
Elia, I'm sorry.
okay, it's been a while since we heard from T. We really appreciate you coming back to this platform, T. So yeah, good to see you back. All right.
Yeah, so I mean, the evidence would be that these systems come together to benefit the survival of the human race, because the purpose of the world is for the human race to continue for a time until it's decided that he's going to end the world. So these systems that are in place,
God is going to end the world? When is that calendar event?
the survival of the human race. So we would say that that's good evidence. That's a good sign that someone.
Why are there police sirens in your background?
They're coming to get back to this question is totally irrelevant. Anyway, Islamic, that was a good
Can I speak?
Unfortunately,
Totally
when it comes down to design,
You made a point,
you
you don't mind.
evidence for your design, Islamic. So you're begging the question. It's all about you providing an evidence for your claimed designer. That is basically inferred from your analogy of design that you're stating.
Elia, can I speak now? Because you made a very good point. Can I speak? And answer you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I agree with you when you say the claims upon the claimant. So I agree with you 100%. But obviously, I'm only coming into this conversation, and you understand my belief as a Muslim. But equally as well, I need to understand where because all the points that I bring to you, you're gonna disagree with it based upon the belief that you believe in. So I'm guessing you believe in the scientific method, right?
Bansi, with all the respect to your belief and to your religion and to everything that has to do with it, it isn't about belief. Belief is one approach to come to understand existence. Not every single person approaches existence or tries to understand existence through belief. There is the other method, which is just knowing stuff through first-hand experience, through scientific evidence. You don't have to believe things. To believe something necessitates that you have got nothing, you have got no idea about what it actually is, and that's why you believe in it, because you don't know what it is. So you have to take someone's word for granted.
Not really.
That's a totally different approach. So not every single person has to believe in something.
Okay, I'm gonna let you finish.
You go around and throw your claims around everyone that you believe in something. People don't believe. You see, I don't have to believe in things. I know things. Some things I don't know. I humbly say, I don't know what you're talking about. Period. That's it.
So, Elia, that's definitely
That's
not
silly.
epistemology work. You're not speaking. Hold on just one second. You're not speaking for everyone's epistemology there.
Earlier, again, you keep speaking over me. So whenever I try to make my point, then you keep cutting me. While I keep listening to the point that you make, even though I agree with them 1,000%. Like for example, you mentioned that the belief is based upon something that you can substantiate. There's two types of belief. There's belief that you can substantiate with evidence and proof. Like for you, for example, if I was to ask you, do you believe that your mother is your mother? You would say yes, even though you may not have proof that your mother is your mother. Because you wasn't like you can't remember. The only thing you have is a birth certificate saying that you was born at this hospital, so this person was your mother. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think that argument doesn't really make sense to me either. I think there's two types of beliefs. Belief that you can substantiate with evidence, and there's belief that is based on no evidence, of course, because you just believe in it out of hearsay. But to go back to the proposition, say it again.
I have a rebuttal to that.
Okay, go on, I'm listening.
Okay, bouncing. Bouncing. Can you stop being so fucking right?
I find that epistemology to be woefully inadequate as well. I just think that there's a lot of pieces missing in order to make all those gears mesh.
Well, you just kind of criticized you without providing anything objective to the conversation. I see things through either knowing them firsthand, experientially speaking, through a scientific method, or believing in them. And you have to believe in something when you have got no idea about how it functions or what it is. So that's why you need to take someone else's word for granted. Those are two approaches in life. Some people approach existence through belief. Some people approach existence through knowledge and knowing things firsthand. To me, I don't believe in things, I just know things. How is it to you, T? Please enlighten us.
Well, thank you for repeating your position again, because I mean, I think we've heard it enough times.
Try to sum it up.
But I'd like to fill in some of those gears.
I would love to say what my opinion is, but I will
You
wait.
actually did ask me, right? So if you wouldn't mind, for what I think that people hold propositional attitudes. That is to say that they're aware of propositions, and they hold an attitude whether or not that proposition is true or not. We call those propositional attitudes beliefs. So if I just say, hey, I think the cat is on the mat. So the proposition, the cat is on the mat, I have an attitude towards it. I think it's true, right? And then when we have, a certain set of combinations of propositions which we believe are true, and we have good justification for them, it's like another gear in this cog that we haven't even touched on yet, justification for a belief. We say that we have knowledge when we say that a proposition is believed, true, and we have justification for it. Then we can talk about what might warrant justification.
So in other words, we're playing on the lingo and linguistics and semantics of what a belief is, and your understanding something that is known firsthand is just a belief for which we've got some sort of like substantialism, or what would you call it? Substantial evidence, probably. I'm trying to...
No, I didn't say anything about evidence. I said justification. And no, I'm not playing on words. You started by providing a semantic, and I'm pointing out the reason why I think the semantic that you provided is incomplete.
Well, I think I've provided a very comprehensive and simplistic understanding of what knowing something is, what believing something is. You try just to categorize everything under the umbrella of knowing things, and you just...
No, I didn't do that at all. No, you
misunderstood
me entirely.
For you,
No, you misunderstood me entirely.
For you,
right?
okay, let me...
No, you completely got my position wrong. You must have not heard a word I said. Hold on. You must have not heard a word I said. Right?
I did.
Because I said, hold on. Because I said, when a specific set of criteria are met, that's when we know something, right? A very specific set of criteria must be met for something to be considered knowledge. So no, I didn't say anything like that. I didn't say anything like, I just lump it all under knowledge. No. I defined 3 very specific criterias which must be met for something to be considered knowledge.
What are those criteria?
Well, those criteria, again.
Okay, so I obviously you weren't listening, right? The first criteria was that it's a proposition which is held to be true. Or we call that belief, right? The second criteria is that it's actually true, independent of whether or not we think it's true, right? And the third was that we have justification for saying that it's true. Those are the 3 criteria which warrant knowledge.
Well, T, we're listening to you. The second criteria, which is a belief of it being true, again.
No, that was the first
under
criteria.
the umbrella of belief.
No, that was the first criteria.
The first criteria is the proposition as you laid it out. The second
is
one
a propositional attitude. The first criteria is a propositional attitude. The second criteria is a state of affairs in reality. And the third is a justification. 3 different things.
So for something to be known as true, it necessitates it being believed with some sort of a justification to you, right? Again, we're putting everything under the umbrella of belief. This is something I totally refuse. A belief is something.
I didn't say anything is all under the umbrella of belief. I defined what.
Well, let's not simplify things for the sake of 5-year-olds.
Good, let's not. Do you remember what I said a belief was?
I believe it's something that is totally different in my understanding.
Do you remember what I said a belief was?
Hey, T, do you think there's maybe like a language barrier here? Maybe like English native speaker versus non-native English? Do you think that has something to do with the debate?
something and not understand.
Do you remember what I said a belief was?
I don't have to remember what you're saying.
You don't remember what I said a belief was.
Knowing something first.
You don't remember what I said a belief was.
From believing.
Right? Because I gave you a very specific semantic on this. I said it was a proposition which has an attitude towards it. Do you understand that phrasing?
Look, there is no need to undermine anyone in this room.
I didn't undermine anyone. I asked you a question if you understood what I said.
We've got all the dictionaries
If
in
you
the world.
don't understand what I said.
Let me tell you something.
If you don't understand what I said, just tell me and I'll try and break it down through.
I don't need. It's not about you. It's not about what you say. It's not about what you'll ever say in your whole life.
Whoa. I asked if you understood.
This conversation is redundant.
It's not about you.
I feel like you guys are just going in circles.
No, I didn't say anything about me. I asked if you understood. Can you repeat my position back to me?
Not everything has to do with you, T.
I didn't ask about me.
This.
I didn't ask about me. I said, can you repeat my position back to me?
Yo, T, this conversation is redundant. I feel like both of you are just going back to circles. Yeah, so once again,
if we really can't establish that knowing something on one hand is diametrically opposite to believing in something when you have got no idea what it is.
That's not what I said, right? So that's not my
It's
position.
not about what you say, T. You don't understand that it isn't.
No. What you're doing is you're
fundamental
contradicting the
linguistically
semantic
speaking.
that I
It is
provided.
fundamental to any
No,
conversation.
you're contradicting the semantic that I provided.
Knowing something first.
No, you're contradicting the semantic that I provided,
to
though.
believing in something.
But why are you
idea what it
For
is.
what reason are you contradicting the semantic that I provided? What's the reason?
Well,
Is there something wrong with the
it's totally
semantic I
irrelevant
provided?
because it's about simplicity.
Sorry.
It's
Is
about
there something
building
wrong
blocks in any
with the semantic that I provided?
Talking about essentials for any conversation.
Sorry, was there something wrong with the semantic that I provided?
It's just waste time. It complicates things. This is the point of the conversation.
Was there something wrong with it?
Okay, go on. I'm just bored with you.
Was there something wrong with the semantic that I provided?
We're talking about building blocks. We need to be simple here.
I agree. Was there something wrong with the semantic that I provided?
See, the point that I was trying to drive home was when we, investigate a reality, we can clearly see systems being balanced with other systems.
Where do you explain that with evolution?
We have a decision to make, right? We have a decision to make. What are the reasons for me to believe that it was intentional versus the reasons for me to believe that it's not intentional? This is the dialectic that I'm providing.
Sure. So the reason that I would think that it was intentional was that there was evidence of some will which was intending it. That's the reason that I would think it's intentional, right? And so when I talk about something's will that's intending it, I can usually identify the subject of the will, right? I can say, oh, look, it was Cindy who intended to do that. It was her intention.
You have to see the intender in order for something to be intended. Is that what you're suggesting?
No. That's how I label it, how I locate it, right? Like,
what if you were unable to locate?
Without an intender, I'm not sure how I would locate intention. I might infer it through, something I know about how intentions work and how people operate, or I don't have to even use, forget I said people, how subjects operate, right? I can admit that inference, right? But it's always going to come down to some subject. Right? At the end of the day, when I talk about an intention, that intention is going to be localized to a subject. It is the subject's intention.
Right. So, and so this is where we would differ, right? You would say that we must be able to locate the intender for me to have confidence that this was intended.
I didn't say that, though. I said that the intention is localized to a subject. And that's how I locate intention, is I understand how subjects operate. I didn't say that we have to locate the subject, right? I said that that it's always going to be subjective. There's always going to be a subject who's doing the intending, right?
I say that.
So, what he's saying, I agree with it. I agree. But what I still want to understand, because there's a few things you mentioned about the science and scientific method. When we talk about science, are we talking about, for science, are we talking about theories? I just want to understand that part here, because initially I asked about T's beliefs.
Where a theory is a description of a fact that has been tested rigorously and demonstrated to be effective at explaining what it is that we're trying to explain, right?
I disagree with that term.
Well, no, okay, but I'm just providing you with a semantic. If you want to use a different semantic, if you want to label a theory, like, I've got a guess about this, then we're just talking about two different things. It's equivocation, right?
Because a theory, is not a fact, right? Because you have to make that clear that a theory is not a fact, right? Because it was to give an example, like a theory, for example, like
I didn't say a theory was a fact. I said a theory describes a fact. There's a difference.
No, one second. I just wanted to get clear on, T's understanding. I'm trying to understand his answer. Is it necessary to determine who to point at, be able to see or have some experience with the intender, right?
I've answered this already, right?
And you said no.
I answered. Allow me to say it again. I might make an inference based upon my understanding of how subjects operate, right? Based on my understanding of how cars are manufactured, when I see a car I've never seen before, I might make an inference about the intention there, simply by virtue of the knowledge of how subjects operate with intention. So I don't necessarily have to know that it was in fact the Ford Motor Company, Detroit, Michigan plant that did it. Right? I don't have to know that it was the CEO or the designer that did it. I can make an inference that there was one, based on my knowledge.
So why can't you apply that Why can't you apply to, say, human beings, right? When you apply that same methodology to human beings, why are you rejecting that there is an intender?
Well, I'm not rejecting anything. I'm just looking at the evidence, and the evidence suggests that we evolved. So I don't have to reject anything.
Okay, so okay. That's
the evidence of evolving.
I already asked you, what is your evidence? What is your evidence that the process of evolution is unintentional? I already asked for that, and you said you don't have any positive evidence for that. It's just that you don't see any evidence for that. Right?
Okay, but here's how this works, right? If we were to postulate that there is an intention behind evolution, that would just form a hypothesis. Then we could go and falsify that hypothesis. I'm all about that type of shit, right?
What would falsify, the fact or the idea that evolution was an intentional process?
I don't know. I haven't fully fleshed out this hypothesis yet. It's your hypothesis, and I'm not doing the work for you.
Oh, so then how can you believe in something that you can't substantiate? But you battle with that.
I'm not saying I believe in anything. I'm just saying we have a hypothesis which has not been fully formed yet.
Do you believe we evolved from a lower form of life? Okay. Do you believe we evolved from something that was not human? Was I don't know, a single cell, whatever. Eventually, got to go back to the single cell from the ocean, whatever. So, do you believe that? Do you have that faith?
All evidence suggests that all of life today is a continuation of an unbroken process that leads all the way back to a single cell.
You have no evidence for that, man. That's faith.
Excuse me.
You're more religious than we are, man.
Excuse me. I think you meant to ask the question, not tell me what I have.
Yeah.
Right?
Show us the evidence. We came from. Just pick up something recent, like the apes or whatever. 2 million years ago, supposedly from Lucy or whatever. Show us that link.
So, for example, like the fossil record would be evidence of that. Right?
Yeah. Well, what is that? Show us. Where is that?
I think
I'm sorry, I just did the fossil record.
What does it show? What does it show? It shows Lucy. It shows Lucy. I don't know what.
Excuse me.
Do you see the issue? The issue
that we evolved from apes.
The issue here is that he can't provide any evidence that this was an unintentional process. That's what I was highlighting.
Once again, Islamic and evidence. So T, sounds like you're just going around in circles. So then, initially, when I asked you that do you believe in evolution, you said no. But then previously you said that you subscribe to the understanding of evolution. So like explain that to me so I can understand. Am I correct here?
I said what now?
That makes no sense.
That makes no sense. Like what you just said.
Let me finish. Let me explain it. So you said that you said that you don't believe in evolution, right?
When did I say that?
Well, do you believe in evolution, yes or no? Just so I can understand.
I observe evolution occur.
When you say observe, give me one evidence of you observing evolution occurring.
Sure. Populations of genetic organisms accumulate change over successive generations, leading to increased biodiversity through natural selection. See it happening all the time.
So, do you think mutation in genetics is a requirement of evolution?
1 second, because I feel like then T. So give me one species that have gone, not adaptation, because I can understand adaptation, but give me one species that have gone from one form to a different form. Like, just give me one species.
I don't know what you mean by form.
Okay, give me like an animal.